Hi, Ruth. How are you?
Oh, sorry, I'm muted as we often are.
Okay, you're early. Yeah, I saw you.
I tried to log in a little early to thwart Murphy from playing with me.
Yeah. Our co-chair, Laura Valerie, she might be late for like 5 minutes. Actually, she was planning to host this event, but I'll step in. Yeah, I'll introduce you first, and you can just share your PowerPoint with us.
Sure. I actually don't have a slide deck, but I have something to show. I can show.
Okay.
As I'm talking, I will show the LibGuide that we have for the brain.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. This is our first event, we organized for the semester. Very busy semester somehow.
Yeah. Well, thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, that's a really cool topic.
Happy to have the opportunity to.
I saw this actually your lab guide on the website. It's very informative. A lot of information there.
Yeah.
When it was started?
It started in January of 2022, so it's just over a year old.
Oh, I see. Yeah, no wonder. Yeah, we are not really familiar. I think it's really
the word is spreading slowly. We advertise it in various places, but faculty are busy people, so this is a great opportunity for us to get the word out. So thank you.
Yeah, we hope we can have some people to learn today. There's some activities actually from our history department, and they have a field trip somewhere. So I'm not sure whether my colleagues would be available, but let's see.
Well, seems like on any given day there's 14 things going on at Georgia Southern.
Yeah, but we do add this event on the school calendar and also promoted, in the College of Liberal Arts.
Okay.
Yeah, hopefully we can see more people. So you're Armstrong based right now, right?
No, I'm in Statesboro.
Oh, you're in Statesboro.
That's my primary location. I move back and forth between the campuses as needed, but I'm in.
Because I remember that 2 years ago we were, sitting on the same committee, right, for the undergraduate research.
Yes.
Yeah.
So.
Are you still on the committee?
I am. And we, in fact, in the library in the last year, we've gotten an undergraduate research assistant.
Oh,
helping us with some of our efforts that we'll talk about today.
That's nice.
I don't know exactly how long you want me to speak. It says it's a flash talk, so I presume that
yeah, it's up to you. Like,
okay,
maybe 20 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Or we can have some questions, after your talk. Yeah,
absolutely. So I guess the main thing I need to just check on is that I can share my screen. So if you can.
Right. Yeah, you should share. Let me see if I can grant you that.
Make me a co-host, then I can do that.
Yeah, I can make you a co-host, right?
Okay. Yeah. So now I see all the features. So that'll be good.
So as a librarian, do you have to work in summer, the whole summer break?
We do. We're 12-month faculty, so we work year round with roughly a month's vacation.
Oh, okay, that's not too bad. I mean,
yeah.
1 month, yeah, still.
Because learning goes on all year long. So
yeah. Any budget cuts, from the school? I mean, due to the economic downturn.
There are pressures on the libraries. Yeah. We've lost a few positions. They're gradually getting filled again, but basically when lines go unfilled, they go away.
Yeah.
So right now we're kind of up to our normal full load of librarians. We have 11 in total.
Uh-huh.
I think we're short maybe 1 or 2 positions, but there are 4 librarians at Lane Library, I'm sure you know,
Right. Yeah.
and 7 here.
I don't know who's the history department liaison in the library.
That would be Autumn Johnson, most likely.
Oh, because I never saw the information. Okay,
Okay, so there's people. in there.
Karen's here. Hey, Karen. Do you know Carolyn, from Armstrong Library?
Yeah, oh, sure. Yeah.
Right,
that
she
my
was
mentor.
our liaison before the pandemic. So I'm not sure right now who's the one. Yeah, I guess it
Yeah,
changed.
we had a small reorganization of the librarians last year. So we used to have dual liaison librarians, and now there's just one for each discipline.
I see.
There's been some consolidation there.
You said you have been working as a librarian for more than 30 years.
That's correct.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, I thought that was a nice round number, but not quite ready to retire.
Not yet, so you can work, contribute a
About-
lot to us.
So about 22 years of that is as an academic librarian. I also worked for a vendor.
Oh,
I worked for Blackwell's Book Services for a while as a librarian, but in that company.
that's before Georgia Southern.
That before Georgia Southern, yes. So it's hard to make the transition back to academic settings. So when those opportunities present themselves, you hop on them. So.
Sure. Okay, let's wait some minutes because I guess Nalanda and also Felix, the 2 members from our group, said they're gonna join today.
And Nalanda messaged me saying that she wouldn't be able to be here.
Uh-huh.
She's on leave, but I'm doing a little bit of research for her.
Oh, that's
Journal metrics. I speak to her frequently.
oh, Laura's here. Hey, Laura.
Hello.
Hi, I'm looking for, if you're still wanting me to do the intro, I just need to find your email.
Sure, you can, yeah. You got time, don't worry.
What's that?
You got time, yeah. Take our time.
Okay.
Yeah, we can wait another 3 minutes maybe. Because Nalanda and Felix is still not here. You're early here, Laura. So you finished our meeting early.
I told them I had to duck out at 1:58. Yeah, I mean 11:58. And they decided that it was okay. Let me see.
You made it.
I found it. Okay, I'm just gonna use your. Is that okay? Just use your.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
That's I got from Ruth.
Great. I'm really excited about this, actually, Ruth. Thank you for doing.
I'm glad to have the opportunity. Thank you all for inviting me.
Yeah, it's a good topic. Actually, I saw that, online.
Get at least 2 more people. Okay, so welcome to the International IERG Flash Talk, and today's topic is Brain Booth, which is an initiative that was undertaken by Ruth Baker. Ruth Baker is, and yes, I'm the assistant dean, I think, of the library research. Ruth Baker is an academic librarian in the Georgia Southern University Libraries. Her academic background is in anthropology and prehistoric archaeology, with graduate work concentrated in paleoethnobotanical studies, I hope I didn't botch that too badly, in the Southwestern United States. In addition, she holds an MS in Library and Information Studies and has worked as a librarian for more than 30 years. She came to Georgia Southern in 2012 and was appointed to the position of Scholarly Communications Librarian in 2017 and currently serves as part of a team providing outreach and research support for Georgia Southern's faculty and graduate students. I think that's like a long introduction, so I'm going to stop here because I would like for you to just go ahead and explain in your own words. I think is better to introduce us to Brain Booth and the work that you're doing, which is a very exciting initiative. So
absolutely. Thank you so much for having me, and to all the people who might be watching after the fact. I'm glad you could be here. So what I want to talk about today, if you're not familiar with the Brain Booth, I was going to do a poll for a show of hands, but it may be that faculty are not very familiar with the Brain Booth initiative. So I'll talk about what that is. It's based on an idea that we have found in the scholarly literature, where students are self-reporting that their greatest barriers to their own success are number 1, stress, and number 3, anxiety. And the Brain Booth is designed to help students with those issues at their point of need. So we'll talk a little bit about how that works. The Brain Booth, and I will share here a link to the guide that I'll be showing. The Brain Booth is an experiential space to learn about the mind-body connection, reduce stress, and optimize learning. That's our official mantra. So if you look at this link, and I will share this now. If I can share my screen. So this link should take you to our LibGuide. This is the set of LibGuides that you're probably familiar with at the university. There's one for the Brain Booth. So you can see our one sentence summary of the Brain Booth here at the top. This experiential space was established in January 2022. It's not a room per se, so much as an open area. So we are estimating the number of visits that we have. We have a couple ways of counting visitors, but there isn't a gate really that measures how many people come into the Brain Booth. So this is probably lowballing it. So for something that's existed for a little more than a year, it gets a lot of frequent use. So what I would like to talk to you all about is basically what happens in the Brain Booth and how you can incorporate it into your classes. So first of all, there have been this many visits to the Brain Booth. That includes some class visits. We have had a few over the course of the fall 2022 and spring 2023 semesters. We've had more than 100 students in classes come on formal visits with their class to the Brain Booth. And a couple of other things that we do regularly as part of this outreach to students is a weekly mindfulness tip that you may have seen on the university listservs. Is a mindfulness tip of the week, which we took a brief pause for spring break, but we're starting them up again next week. And then there are activities in the Brain Booth that are described in this guide. So there's a basic welcoming screen here. This is a little video created by one of our own students that you can take a look at for the grand opening event that we had for the Brain Booth. And then there are tabs here that show you some of the activities. So just to give you an idea of what students can do in the Brain Booth, this is a place where they can take a brain break, basically. And in a few minutes, I will talk about how you can arrange visits for your classes to the brain booth, that can be done very easily. So just to say up front, primarily what you would need to do is contact either Dr. Karajova or me, and we can figure out when is the best time to arrange a visit for your class. So that's one of the main things. So what are the things that people would do in the brain booth? There are various kinds of stations, and for each of these for these stations, we have student assistants who work in the brain booth on specific days. Show you here, I believe we have it down here. So we have drop-in hours on Wednesdays and Thursdays, and there are brain booths at both the Henderson Library and Lane Library on the Armstrong campus. And in fact, we're having simultaneous visits from graduate students today, a scheduled event for them in the brain booth at 3 o'clock. So if you have any graduate students you want to recommend this to, it's just a drop-in event where we're going to introduce grad students to some of the activities of the brain booth. So, but primarily when we have student assistants available is on Wednesdays and Thursday afternoons. So it's posted here during these hours. We found that not many students use the brain booth on Mondays or Fridays. So the middle of the week seems to be the ideal time to host them. So we have several undergraduate students who are trained in assisting other students with brain booth activities who are available at these times. Go back here to what the activities are. One of the things that we learned from our literature review and just reading in the literature is, especially during the pandemic years, though you could argue we're still in them, was that students really longed for face-to-face contact, and they wanted to get away from their screens and do things that weren't so technological. So this one right here is one of the only a couple of things that are in the brain booth that are technology based. So there is some ability for students to understand their own physical responses to stress. And this program on this computer here that's in the brain booth helps them to monitor their own reactions and train themselves to sort of calm down, lower their heart rate. And the idea is that they would build up some mental memory of that state that they can get themselves into for a time when they're away from their brain booth in a stressful situation, and be able to calm down their own reactions. So this is something that senses the pulse rate. You can see this person has a clip attached to their ear. So you clip this on and it senses your pulse rate and gives you a readout on the screen. So that's probably the most technology intensive thing that there is in the brain booth. There is a portable unit that they can use. And let me just say something about the electronics and small things that are in the brain booth are available during the drop-in times, but also anytime that the libraries are open. We put the small electronics away in a drawer because, as Dr. Karajova says, they have a tendency to walk away. So while the assistants are there, they're being monitored. Once they're locked up in the drawers, they're not inaccessible. So a student can come into any of the libraries and ask for one of those things, like the portable biofeedback, or we have, I'll show you, we have things like virtual reality goggles, different kinds of technology tools. They can request those and check them out at our checkout desks at both libraries. So as long as the library is open, the brain booth really is accessible to them. That was one of the main things about establishing the brain booth. There are many classes that may incorporate mindfulness or contemplative pedagogy, but it might not be at the perfect time for a student. So the brain booth as an open space allows us to assist students at their point of need. So that's what's kind of unique about it. So some other things that are there, the biofeedback stations. We have things we call relaxation and contemplation stations. So there are, among the more popular things in the brain booth, we have coloring, adult coloring, and jigsaw puzzles, origami. There is there's a pillar in the center of the brain booth that has a gratitude log on it where students can write or draw something on there that they're grateful for. That's a very popular thing. Students are happy to say things that they're glad for or grateful for. Recently, spring break featured in one of the brain booth gratitude logs. Another popular item is the massage chair. That's a very nice way to take a brain break. Students are limited to a few minutes at a time, a couple times a day. It can be reserved, or often students will just sit down there. And reportedly, the foot massage is one of the greatest parts of this chair. We have some other stations, things like light therapy to help with, just being indoors all the time. Students get benefit out of that. There's a sound machine that has some soothing nature sounds you can listen to. Variety of different ways of relaxing. These are all kind of technological. We have a contemplation or meditation corner. This now has sort of cloth covered partitions around it, so it's a little more private. Then this probably is the most popular thing in the brain booth, is this large chessboard. It's set up right here next to the gratitude log. What we've heard is that the Georgia Southern Chess Club meets in the brain booth because of this board. So students a lot of students are not that familiar with chess, so they have an opportunity to learn here. We have a few other things, small card sets, so students can interact with one another. These things are not technological, and students really seem to gravitate to them as a way of taking a brain break. Here's someone using the virtual reality goggles. We have a variety of programs that they can download onto their phones. The phone basically is the inner workings of the goggles. And we have a survey right now that we're conducting, looking for recommendations of new videos that they would like. Another interesting thing, we have a couple of these pedal desks. Students report that they enjoy exercising a little bit while they're reading or studying. So these are also available there in this open space. Let me see what I might have missed here. So you can see over here on the left, this is divided up in various kinds of activities. And we do want to recommend to faculty that you can bring your students to the brain booth during your regular class time. If you wanted to set up just a chance to visit, or some other classes are giving extra credit to students to visit the brain booth, they can do that on their own time. If you didn't want to formally integrate it with your course, you can set up a visit to the brain booth with us in just a few days. We need just a little bit of lead time in order to make sure that if the visit is not timed for one of our drop-in slots, that we'll have a student assistant there that can assist visitors with using different things. Things especially like the biofeedback machine takes a little bit of learning. So our student assistants are trained in how to assist visitors with using these things. Something for the future, we're planning to offer skill shops on mindfulness starting in the fall. And those will be led by our lead brain booth student assistant. So the other thing that we can offer you is an opportunity to fully integrate the Brain Booth into your courses by setting up in advance when those visits would happen. Can be put into your syllabus or in your folio course, and then when those things will happen, and we will be able to schedule our student assistants to be available for you at those times. So we are happy to work with you. The best thing to do, let me say one more thing. So you can integrate the Brain Booth into your class activities. If you don't want to do anything that formal, you can just reach out to Dr. Karajova or to me, and we will work with you to set up a time when you can have a class visit. It doesn't have to be done at the very beginning of the semester, but we do need a couple of days just to schedule our student assistants and to make sure that they will be there. Okay, there's a question about who to contact. So me and Dr. Karajova, her email address. There's a box here under tools and activities that tells you our email addresses. And it's also at the bottom of this page. So that's the best way to do it right now. Student organizations, they are welcome to visit the Brain Booth. If you wanted to set up a special visit, we can certainly do that. I mentioned at the beginning, I don't know if everyone was here then, that we are hosting COGS this afternoon. There's a simultaneous visit to the Brain Booth by graduate students from at the Armstrong campus and also here on the Statesboro campus. So those can be set up. It doesn't take a lot of advanced planning. We just need to make sure that the Brain Booth is set up and ready for them, and we have student assistants on hand to help them with anything they have questions about.
May I ask a few questions?
Yeah, certainly.
So how many students can it accommodate? How big a class would be able to?
It is, as I said, you might not be able to tell from these images. It is an open space.
Mhm.
It's in the Lane Library on the Armstrong campus. Is that where most of you are?
No, well, I mean, I'm
Okay.
online mostly, but
All right. Well, at Armstrong, as you come into Lane Library, it's just to the right as you go through the security gates.
Mhm.
It's a smaller space than what we have at Henderson, but they are not bounded by walls other than the library walls. So that the one at Lane probably could accommodate classes of 20 to 30 people. We can accommodate easily that many in Henderson Library, but probably it could be even larger. Some of the social science classes have caps of, I think, 50 or 60 students. So that would be a lot of people in the space, but there are enough activities spread around, and there's couches and seating that we could accommodate classes of 30 or 40 easily.
And the other question is how could you talk a little bit about the virtual reality aspect of it, and what kind of things do students do in there, and also how many goggles you have available?
Right. So we have 2 sets of goggles. Let me see if I can get a picture. Where we have them set up, right adjacent to this area here. So over on the right, heading back towards the Carroll building side, there are a couple of couches and tables. And when our student assistants are there, they just set the goggles out and anyone can help themselves to them. There are, this is a good opportunity to say, on each of these stations, there are signs with an explanation of what the activity is and if there's any instruction needed. So there's instructions there on how to download the video to their phone. To do the virtual reality thing. And it's usually something like an outdoor scene that's very soothing, some nature sounds, or it might be, some virtual reality of walking through a space or, interacting with interacting with things in the environment. They are things that are meant to be relaxing. It's not going to be, a typical kind of video game you might look at in goggles.
Right. I was wondering if you had some meditations and things like that.
Yeah, there are those aspects to those applications. There are also, I don't think we have an image of this. Maybe we do. There's a table as you enter the Brain Booth area at both libraries, where there is our laptops with guided meditation on them. So they go to a website at UCLA, and students can then walk through a guided meditation. So there are a variety of activities like that. We see mostly what I have observed is students aren't really attracted by the screens. They're more interested in the analog activities. There's a group of students that come to the Brain Booth every day and they work puzzles. It's just it's a wonderful break for them from their schoolwork, and just a chance to sort of get over having a calculus exam or something, or just the stress of having to write papers, particularly this time of year. We're seeing a lot of students just taking 15-20 minutes, but it's very refreshing for them, and they seem to really enjoy it. Something else I should mention, I did share the paper that Dr. Karajova and I recently had published about the intersection of mindfulness and technology. And I mentioned that by way of saying that the Brain Booth is an active area of research in the university. We have a number of grants that we've gotten funded. We have an undergraduate research assistant. We have 4 or 5 projects right now that are in process. There's one that's hopefully will be published soon, is a paper that Dr. Karajova is presenting about a qualitative research study that we did, collecting reflections from students that had visited the Brain Booth in the last year, and doing some text analysis of that. We had to get IRB approvals. So we've done all of the things that you have to do research at the university. So we are continuing to pursue those things. There are a number of different projects that are underway. So hopefully you will see more from us in the literature about what's going on in the Brain Booth. And we hope that you will want to bring your classes to the Brain Booth and give them that experience, and learn about the fact that it's there and available anytime they need it.
That's beautiful. Thank you. What inspired this idea? I'm really curious.
Well, Dr. Karajova brought this brainchild with her from her previous institution. She was at a university out in California where they established the first Brain Booth. I guess that's the first one that's been called that. And it was an open space there as well. And it was so successful with students, and they seemed to appreciate it so much. She wanted to do that here. And then she is our associate dean for research and assessment. So she was interested in pursuing her research objectives with the Brain Booth. I've been able to work very closely with her, so that's been a great opportunity for me. And we're starting to get publications. We're presently in the final round of a grant application from IMLS, the National Leadership Grants for Libraries, to expand the Brain Booth, hopefully into local high schools, and
Wow.
helping students make that transition to college and give them some tools to help them, cope with those pressures.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
What about the community, like community libraries?
Yeah, so we've targeted several high schools, both here in Statesboro and in the Savannah area. So we're hopefully looking at different populations.
So
Okay.
both libraries, Henderson and Lane, got the same facilities, right? Same chairs, same
Yes,
stuff.
they don't have as much space at Lane as Henderson, but they have all the same activities there.
Okay, yeah.
I'm going to pause recording. I think we can probably just chat a little bit. But yeah.